because I get the big bucks, I guess I've been chosen to bring this up. But it's one of those things that we can't do an executive session because it doesn't fit. So, although I think I'd have rather done it there. But I received an email from Commissioner Bishop addressed to Commissioner Mosley, or at least the text of it was addressed to Commissioner Mosley. The email to me said to Rodney Harlow, a former employee, already wrong. And then the communication to Commissioner Mosley was after that. So it's something that some of us have expressed disappointment in, I guess I would say, or felt like a former employee who has sued us should not be included in our communications to each other. And having said that, I'll give Commissioner Bishop wants to say something. I'll let her say. Let's do this.
Let me say something.
Well, I've called on her, so I'm going to let her say what she did. Then I'll come to you next, Charlie. I'm going to try to keep this orderly.
When I got the disc and I downloaded the policies, I was confused as to if this replacing the new policy, is this our new policy replacing the old? So my friend, Rodney Harlow, he had been the chief and he understood the policies, and I sent the email to him for information purposes for me. He is my friend, and I don't see anything wrong with it because it's public.
Well, let me just make a comment. Me as a commissioner, I do not believe that a commissioner should be emailing a former employee that sued the city, the police chief, on information that's going on either out in public or in executive session. That cannot happen, and it shouldn't be tolerated, no matter who it is, whether it's any one of us, especially to a former police chief that was sued the city for whatever reason. He might be your friend, but
He is my friend.
you should not be emailing him on things that's going on with this city. It should not happen.
Is the
That's all I'll
policy not public record? The policies
If
are
you
not
want to pick up the
public?
phone and call him and talk all night, that's fine. But you should not be emailing him on things that's being discussed in this city in executive session or here.
Why?
I don't think it's
Not in
ethical. I don't think
executive
it's
session.
right. It's not ethical and it's not right.
How come? What reason? I'm
Well,
confused.
I think if you have a problem with our present department, whether it's water department, sewer, or street department, or the police department, then you're going to have to get over that. If you have a problem with Billy Whiteneck as a police chief, I just don't think it's ethical for you to be emailing a police chief that no longer works for the city, that sued the city.
That
on
could give me
information.
advice on policies.
If you want advice, you should come to a person that's working for the
Wait a
city.
second, we're going to set some ground rules here. I'm going to listen to one person at a time.
Okay, I'm done.
If you're through, Rose, you got anything else to say?
Not right now.
Scott?
Just that if, anytime that we have any issues that are confusing, in question, it's my opinion it would be better to come to the commissioner first, or the gentleman, the Harrodsburg City Police Chief, who's implementing these for clarification purposes. At this point, we just don't want the appearance of someone else dictating our policies.
How come you didn't go to Billy Whiteneck? He's our police chief. If you needed
I
information,
asked
he
for
knows as much as
advice.
Wait a
Rodney
second,
Harlow.
wait a second. I'm going to do this the best I can. Are you finished, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Charlie?
Yeah,
I'll give you a chance to go first this time.
I'm through. I don't say more.
Rose, you got anything else to say? Commissioner Asher?
But do we now, I know was another one, an officer there, there's some ongoing investigations, I don't know what all I'm concerned with.
True.
They don't tell us a lot what's going on, because a lot of it is confidential. So I just worried about some of those things getting out that especially we don't even know a lot about what's going on yet, but as long as there's an investigation going on, that we shouldn't be involved with other people that's involved in these investigations. in my
Would
opinion.
it be appropriate for us to say publicly or mention any investigations that are ongoing? Or should I stay quiet? Any other
I
questions?
didn't understand Bubby's question.
Well, it wasn't a question, it was just a comment that I feel like that there is some investigations could be going on at this time with the police department.
What he's saying is that he doesn't
there's
think
different policies.
personal communications need to be on the internet because they could affect some investigations, I guess is what he's trying to say. Chief Whiteneck, you got anything to say about this, or are you just gonna?
Oh, can I speak?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're directly involved.
My thing is, how come you didn't ask me or Commissioner Mosley about the confusion?
Really and truly, I needed the advice of a chief that I respect and think a lot of. And Rodney wrote a lot of the original policies. And
How long ago was that he wrote those policies?
2011 was some of them, 2009 was some more.
One policy in 2011. That was the internet policy, the Facebook policy. The rest of them were outdated. All you had to do was go to Commissioner, through the chain of command, you could have went to Commissioner Mosley and said, can you please help me with this, show me what you're doing. Now, you could come to the police department, I'll be more than glad to open up the book and show you what we got.
Actually, the Facebook policy was one that I implemented that talked to Rodney about and said we need to do this immediately. So that was really neat.
Well, I really consider Rodney an expert on a
So-
whole lot of things.
Okay,
And we have been friends for many years.
This,
And
hey,
just because there was a controversy with the city doesn't mean I take it, I wouldn't, are you all accusing me of maybe giving information to somebody that I shouldn't?
I think there's a concern that somebody doesn't need certain information to get it. I think there's that concern.
My
I
concern-
I'm not
think it's
accusing
an
you.
open
I'm not
record.
my
accusing you.
concern is, you said that's public information that you gave him, right?
Sure.
That email you sent makes all your emails public information. So they can do an open records request on your personal email account since you've emailed him business information. I can also do an open records request for your personal emails.
What is your
Well,
point?
you guys
then?
really enjoy the pictures on mine.
The point is, if you have a problem with me or our department, then go through
There's no
Commissioner
problem.
Mosley.
I'm simply asking about the policy.
This is the second time, though, that this has happened. The first time was with the time clock. How did you get a copy of what kind of time clock had been laying in a server room for 3 to 4 years, not hooked up?
What difference does that make?
Where did you get the information?
What the difference does
It makes a lot of difference,
Why?
because that was spoken in executive session, and that's okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, good enough.
Thank you.
The biggest concern I have, Rose, is that this email that was sent was addressed to Scott.
Right.
And
And
if it, yeah, well, no, it was addressed to Scott. I mean, what you sent to Rodney, you sent to me too. I give you
Right.
credit for that. But the email that got sent says, "Hi, Scott."
That was not mine, so.
So, I mean, it said, "Hi, Scott, I have been reviewing the disc." So you've sent information that you sent to Scott without asking or clearing with him. That's the biggest problem I have.
Do you have a problem with this, Scott?
And even though it's public records, we have rules requiring how you get to our public records with requests and stuff. And I don't think the best thing we need to do after tonight is to disagree agreeably and move on, and everybody be aware that it's a sensitive area. I think that's all we need to say about it. I don't think anything else needs to be done except for everybody to say, hey, I'll do my best to get my request to the people that they should go to. And there's nothing wrong with seeking information. I don't think anybody's questioning it. I think what their question is this communication that you sent back after you had your information. I think that's what the deal is. So, having said that, move on to Commissioner Manning.